Let's dive right in. I'm very excited to chat with you about this film, one that I very much enjoyed, and touched me in a lot of different ways here. There's a line in the film that starts off talking a little bit about, I think, what the whole, to me, what a lot of the background is here. It must be hard fighting for the right to marry and ending up in divorce like everybody else. What drew you to telling this story?
Yes, well, I mean, so with the right to marry comes the right to divorce, and we hadn't seen that explored in a feature film before, but as in that line, it gave us an opportunity to make a film that would speak to both an LGBTQ plus audience and also a wider audience who might see themselves reflected in the characters because people break up. That is human, and divorce is loss, but it's also a kind of a change. So it's about a family going through a transformation, and divorce brings into relief sometimes those things that we take for granted, like relationships with our partner, our children, our friends, our family. Um, and it sort of forces everyone to kind of show up for each other in a way that they may have taken for granted. So it gave us an opportunity, divorce, to make a very intimate film about the lives of queer family and of queer people and a queer family, which was our goal.
The thing I really appreciated about it is it's kind of one of those films I like to refer to as like slice of life films. Like it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be the most heartwarming, charming story, but it's real and it's authentic. And I think that's what really comes across in this. As you said, really discussing divorce and custody in a way that we haven't seen on film before.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out because that was something, when my writing partner and I, we wanted to make a queer film, but one that we like to watch, which is a kind of a slice of life film about the everyday lives of people. And, there aren't many queer films like that. There's Nicole Holofcener, there's other directors making, films about, their experience, they're very personal films. And but we wanted to see one that reflected, our lives and our friends and our community. So that was one of the big, motivations to make this is it was an opportunity to have that kind of slice of life film to it. And so yeah, that it's the kind of movie that I like. So it's the kind of movie I like to watch, and therefore,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Definitely appreciate that. How much of your friend groups and your experiences went into, for instance, the dinner table conversation with all of the friends?
Right, right. Yes, I mean, very much. Sorry, there's a fire truck going by right now. I haven't been through a divorce. I'm not married, but I have two sons who I've helped raise with a lesbian couple, and so the parenting aspects I drew on, and the film gave me an opportunity to kind of explore, my feelings about having kids as a gay man, and I have a writing partner, so we were both able to bring, both of our just personal voices and personal experiences. But yeah, we, like you said, our goal was to make it as sort of authentic and realistic and as possible, and that in every way, visually and also with the dialogue. So every line needed to kind of ring as true as possible and just feel just very kind of relaxed and tossed off. And there was most of the film stayed to the script, but I encourage the actors to contribute anything they wanted to, just if they felt like they needed to help it feel more authentic to them. So like Andrew Reynolds ad-libbed a bunch of lines they could say to the movie, of course, because he's just such a pro at that. So yeah.
Well, let's talk about Luke Evans and Billy Porter, who
Yeah.
are absolutely
Yeah.
phenomenal in this movie, and I think, bring this script to life in with the emotional impact I'm sure that you were intending here. Can you talk about casting for these two very different characters?
Yeah, so for this film, it was important to me to cast openly gay actors in the roles of the gay characters in all of the roles, especially the leads, and that narrows the pool a little bit when you're trying to get, big names attached to your movie to help get it made, because this is an indie movie, and that's just kind of the reality of the business of that kind of filmmaking. So we were very lucky that they both said yes. And I was familiar with the work of both, and I was excited because you want to see some evidence that they can do uh the work required of the film, but also not too much. You also want to have the opportunity to bring out something new in them, which is exciting as a director and as an actor and as an audience watching them. So it was perfect in the sense of, like, Billy I hadn't seen play this kind of like a dad, or even a kind of just like a quieter part like this, which he's talked about, and that was what attracted him to the part. And Luke also just, he's been in so many different genre films, action, comedy, horror, that for him to just play a sort of a straightforward drama with such vulnerability and emotion, I really hadn't seen him do that. So I witnessed it for the first time while making this film, and it was just like, he's incredible. Yeah.
It's funny on that, because I had mentioned this film to my father, and he said, "Is that the Dracula guy, or is that
Yeah.
Gaston?" And I said, "Yes, Dad. He
Yeah.
does a lot of other things too."
Yeah. Yeah. He's that guy. Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, just those two playing off of one another, and I don't want to get
Yeah.
into spoilers for the film, but I guess it is a little bit of a spoiler. The thing that I most enjoyed here was we've had so much LGBTQIA film and television that ends in tragedy
Yeah.
or, sadness, and it's all about, perseverance in the community and important stories that need to be told. But with this, we see again the authenticity, but we see a happier ending where their relationship, the two individuals' relationship, has transformed, and we're left in a positive place. Was that always the intent with this story?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think positivity is underrated. It sort of gets a bad rap as being sort of earnest or something, but I really believe in that, and I believe in positivity and hope and optimism. I think that's all we have. So that was definitely in there from the beginning. And also, like you said, it was a response to the kinds of films that we've gotten so far about the queer experience, which is first love, coming out,
Mhm.
tragic endings. So the divorce idea was also exciting because it was like, oh, well, we can do something. It's not about coming out. It's not about first love. It's about the end of a relationship, and to be able to say that that's just as important and beautiful as the beginning of a relationship. And so yeah, to me, it's a movie about a divorce, which is sad, but it was never, we never wanted it to be about suffering. There's too much suffering in the world, so we wanted it to be about it's a celebration of family, whatever that means to you, and connection and the power of friendship, because they all come together for each other. And so I wanted people to leave the theater with that feeling of the kind of relief, or that it's possible to rise above conflict.
And there's still a lot
And
sprinkled in here that we see in other films too. Billy's
yeah.
conversation with his mother in the film about when he came out and his relationship with his father, and then Luke's conversation around, having when his mother keeps saying, he's your son,"
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's a piece that we haven't really seen, but it's touched on so much in this film. Our
Yeah.
son really covers, I think, the gamut of an authentic, real relationship, and it's something that I really appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's sort of like, I had an opportunity to make a film about the queer experience, and yeah, I don't know if I'll have the opportunity again. I hope so. So we wanted to get it all in there in a way, and that's one reason why we included the biological families, because one, they're impacted by divorce, so it feels natural. But I do think the way we show up for each other, the way we are in our relationships, the way we parent, so much of that comes from our relationships with our biological families, and how we were raised and parented, and I think that's universal, but also for queer people, there's a different resonance because we don't know, gay men don't always have necessarily the best relationships with their fathers, who are straight for the most part, and we for middle-aged gay men, like the characters in this movie, they lost a sort of a generation of surrogate fathers. So I don't think queer people take family necessarily for granted. So that's why chosen family is important. So yeah, we got all that, and there's a little bit of coming out in there too, because I mean, I didn't want to just that is a reality of every person's experience. So it gets in there too a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, I hope this isn't your last queer film that you make, because it definitely resonated with me in many different ways, and I think is an important addition to the slice of life films that are out there. So thanks for
Yeah.
taking the time today, and I hope to see more from you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your questions.
Absolutely.